Hey guys, so we're going to do an unboxing today. This is a camera. I'm leasing it, or renting it. Renting it, I think, is actually a better word. It's actually one of the cameras I've been considering to be like my parks camera when I go to the theme parks or when I travel. Though I'm also testing out a lens too, because I have this lens which is nice, but I noticed that it had problems focusing with the Panasonic. But it's an Olympus camera, so I'm like, well, you know, if I decide to actually buy this camera, I'll keep the lens. But I'm also testing out, sorry for all the table shake. I'm also testing out a lens for both cameras, because I'm keeping the G85 regardless. So this bad boy, I'm renting from Lens Rental. I've never rented from them before. I rented from Aperture Rent, I think that's what it's called. Oh gosh. Oh, there's instructions. For my Norway trip, I rented a lens. That lens was amazing. So renting camera equipment is actually like, you know, I didn't know about it at first, but it's like a good way of like testing out equipment before you make, you know, you pull a trigger, because this camera equipment is expensive. So, smile, your order has arrived. Lens Rental Keeper Program. Rent a keeper eligible item and we give a starting point based on the age and the condition. Oh, so basically if you really like it, you can buy it. And then here's some tape and some instructions. I'll read it later. And I think my receipt, oh, it's the return label. So check that out later. So, woo! Actually, Aperture Rent was actually pretty awesome. I emailed them when I got back from the back to the US, and told them that I had to self-quarantine. And they actually were like, okay, just put it in a box, and, you know, and then we'll send FedEx to come pick it up. Didn't cost me anything extra. I didn't have to pay for shipping. They didn't charge me a late fee, because technically it was a day late. It was super awesome, really good. Plus they have a DC office, so if I want to save on shipping, I can just go pick it up. So this camera bag's pretty nice. What is all in here? Okay. Oh, so I guess the camera has a little flash. I mean, a removable flash. Charger. I'm gonna assume this is, oh, the cable for the charger. And this is probably the lens that I rented. Yep, definitely the lens. I forgot, I think it's like a 15mm Leica lens. And then the camera body. So you have to rent the body and a lens if you don't have lenses, but I already had Olympus lens, and then Panasonic lenses can go on the camera. So already out of the box, this is so much lighter than what I have right now. Definitely smaller profile. So, you know, like, I am a noob. I am very new to cameras and stuff like that. Like, so it's been learning, like, you have your camera, what you really need to start upgrading is like your lenses. And so, you know, I've been experimenting, but I also want to keep one camera at home. So like I want to keep the G85 at home, and then I want to have like a travel camera, and I wanted something just a little bit smaller, and then later I'll probably take I don't know, they look about the same really. I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll have to, you know, do some side by side a little bit later. Olympus has good stabilization, which because of my shoulder, I need a little bit better, because like I just have a bad shoulder, and so sometimes there's some visible shake in my videos. Let's see, is there a battery in it? Nope. figured hopefully this is charged. So originally I was gonna rent 2 cameras, but now I'm really only like I decided to still do this because this is a video that I had planned before we went to Norway, but like I was going to rent this camera and then go to the Cherry Blossom Festival in DC and see how it, you know, took festival photos, but then the pandemic happened, so you know, my videos with this camera are going to be kind of boring, kind of just like our backyard, or there's like a little wood trail in our backyard and maybe walking around our neighborhood. So nothing that exciting, you know, and was going to also rent the Fuji X-T200 because that's another camera that's kind of on my list. And I was going to go to Busch Gardens, but yeah, those plans are all canceled. But let's turn... So nice and light, still pretty light. Let's turn it on, see if the battery has a charge. If not, we'll have to stop and do this a little bit later. Ooh. So it's nice and light. I like that. Like it already, I mean, mind you, there's different lens on my G85, but so far I like it. Now I've heard like some complaints about Olympus is that they're little dials, but it feels pretty good in my hand. Like I have small hands, like a lot of the reviewers are complaining about the grip, but then I'm like, well, they are men, and men tend to have bigger hands, and I have small hands, and so this is like perfect. Like there's like that little tab right there. It fits perfect in my hand. Now this is a little bit more expensive. That's why I was also looking at the Fuji X-T200. But I mean, cameras are investments, so it's kind of like this is going to be my partner for the next few years, hopefully, unless I get gas again and buy more camera gear, which is probably possible. But I'm trying to like at least keep just a 2 camera. Like I wanted a smaller camera for like a lot of my restaurant reviews and also to travel in the parks, you know, but I want the interchangeable lens. Like I really like having the option to change lenses. And yeah, so light, good stabilization. That was the problem with the Canon. The Canon M50 just, it doesn't have good stabilization, and with my shoulder issues, and it just was, a lot of the footage from my October trip was just so super shaky. So I think that's enough rambling. I think the only thing I have left is just to test this camera out. So yeah, look at it. Nice and light, and even this lens, like, is pretty small too. So yeah, we'll see how this works with both cameras. So pretty boring backdrop, not as cool as like being out in Disney. It is actually a rather beautiful day in Virginia. Let me go see if I can tread. We haven't mowed, so, and not that we were really great with keeping up our yard anyways. We have a lot of these little, I think they're called nettles. I'm not really sure. Nettles I don't think is the right word. Blue something, I can't remember. But, and there's Indy. Indy. Corgi. So I actually have the other lens, the Olympus lens. This is the Leica lens. I really like it. It's actually not bad. You know, it's not, you can't zoom or anything, but I mean, you can actually see a lot in the background. I have the shorter tripod on it, so, and hopefully the audio is okay. I just pretty much, it's windy, but I have the wind muff, so hopefully it'll be okay. So it's super sunny. Corgi. Corgi. Come on. Come on, Corgi. You can come. He's like, Indy. Come on, Corgi. You can do it. Yay! He's like, oh, you never go up this way. So I haven't like set it on like anything special because I really just started I just pretty much tried. Like, I think the one thing is that like with Panasonic and like Canon, you just pick like whatever frames per second. So I'm really sure it just said 60 and I don't know. I'll have to mess around with it some more. But I'll have to see how this looks in the camera. I mean, this is definitely not Disney World, but we'll see how it tests though. You'll just have to do Corgi shots obsessively because he's the only thing interesting going on at the moment. Quarantine life with Corgi. I like the look of this, and I held both cameras, my Panasonic and this camera, and both of them are actually, the G85 is heavier. Like, I even put this lens on it. It's still heavier, but this camera actually does have a little bit of heft to it. So, I don't know. We'll see how it looks, you know. I'll put this lens in a few minutes and see which looks better. It is really bright and sunny, and it's like around 1 o'clock, so the sun is in the sky. Indy. Indy. You gonna ignore me? Corgi cam.
That is too funny.
He's like, is this my better side or is this my better side? He is so curious about it. What? Do you want
Tiger's gay?
Tiger's gay?
Winston's his boyfriend.
Oh, Winston is his boyfriend.
So I started watching Tiger King. You did? I've hardly ever.
What you doing, Indy? Hey guys, I just wanted to go over some of my general feelings about this camera. I've had it for such a short period of time, but I really do like it. Like, in the 3 days that I've had it, I've really enjoyed like taking, I didn't take a lot of photos with it because I'm not really a photographer, or a really good photographer, but when we went to the farm, I took some of the horses, some of the puppy, and it seems like it takes good photos. The video quality seems pretty good too. I think like there's nothing that I can complain about. It looks good and clear. I know people talk about colors. I think that the colors look pretty good too. I think it's very comparable to, I think, my Panasonic a little bit. And so yeah, for a newbie, it seems pretty self-explanatory. The dials, of course, are in different places, and the dials are different than like my Panasonic or my Canon. Of course, they're different companies. But for like a beginner, it didn't seem too hard, but I have to say, like, their menu system isn't as easy as the Panasonic or the Canon. Like, the Canon was probably the easiest for me. They even had like a dummy function, like they had like a dummy guide. But I have to say, it if I had more time with this camera, or if I end up buying it, yeah, I definitely would probably go into the menu setting and kind of set it to like what I would, you know, think that is right for me, especially going into the parks, and etc. So of course I couldn't test this camera out in like Busch Gardens or like how I originally was going to go to the Cherry Blossom Festival with this camera to test out the vlogging capabilities. But I mean, walking around, you know, it seems like it has good stabilization. It didn't ever feel heavy for me. Sometimes the Panasonic feels heavy for me, especially with my shoulders. But I mean, it seems pretty light and portable. Like I stuck it in my purse when I went to go pick up carry out, and you know, I walked a little bit down Occoquan, and it just seems a lot lighter than the Panasonic. You know, of course, like the other element of like my vlogging is like sitting down in restaurants and like, you know, but I couldn't do that, of course, right now. But I'm probably with the lenses, it probably would do good in low light, so that's probably not a big deal. You know, would I buy this camera? I definitely am considering it. The price tag is what makes me a little, you know, it's an $1,100 camera. It's on sale. Like I think I looked at Adorama, it was like $999. Still $1,000. It's like still pricey. And with the kit lens, I think with the kit lens it's close to like $1,500. You know, mind you, I already have an Olympus lens, so I probably could just make do with one lens until I could. But I mean, sometimes if you look at like the cost, sometimes buying the kit lens does save you a little money. But if I come to that bridge, we'll see what happens. I'm still gonna try and look at the Fuji X-T200. It seems like that one is a little bit lighter than this camera, which I mean, this camera wasn't heavy at all. So I'll just see. But for now, it's definitely, I mean, and my list is very short. It's just been this and the Fuji X-T200. But this one is in first place. You know, and I'll see about renting the Fuji like maybe later this month and kind of testing it out, and see how it is. But I definitely like it. And it also comes in like a silver chrome, and which I like that style. So we'll see. So guys, I hope you guys like this video. I hope, you know, I know it's not like a really good test of like a good in-park video camera, but or vlogging camera, but I mean, it's still, you can make your decision based on like the crappy, you know, like newbie type of videos that I put out. So take it easy, guys. I hope you guys like and subscribe and join me for future videos. Take care.